Hey my lovelies, and welcome to part one of the Enhancing Edits masterclass. Thank you all for your support, and I'm so happy that you guys are loving these classes and they're doing really well. I really do appreciate it from every one of you. So anyway, today the first session that we're starting off with is font styles and font styling, or how to create your own, or vice versa. I stopped doing these simply because I found people were using me too much as inspiration and reference. I found a lot of them were very similar to my own, and yeah, I just felt that it would be better if I stopped doing them. Um, if that makes sense, basically. I just don't feel comfortable doing them anymore. So therefore I don't make them. But I'll show you how to do it and you can go from there and create your own. So obviously the image in front of me is one that I've created for my own character, that's Desi. So I'm just going to show you how to do font styles on her. There's no right or wrong way to do font styles. It's really down to your own preference, I guess, and what you see fits, or yeah, rather. So the first font I usually tend to do, depending if it's a one word or a two word, I'll go with one word and then I'll do a two words or vice versa, or for further on. So with one words, you can go with fancy text. So this one, sorry, just do it as normal. So yeah, you can see it there. My one is called Viato. So I could make it say as big as that. I can then add a drop style, an outer glow, is what I tend to do in an inner shadow or something along them lines. And then if I'm happy with that, or the colouring, depending if I want to make it different, I could make it different. Make it a bit darker, or maybe a bit more blue, like that. That looks good. And then I could always put another font underneath, say even silk screen or whatever font you like, and put her name somewhere. I have a habit of not using silkscreen anymore because I don't like the fact that you can't rotate it without it looking awful. So that's why most people are probably wondering why I moved over to Arial, but Arial just works for everything, so it's just easier for me. Once you're happy with the placement, you can then click OK. If you wanted to make it different, again, you could make it like that. So that's one type of font style. Obviously, you can change that even more so. You can choose a fancier one, especially if it's single word. Remember, you can always reduce the letter spacing. You could place it behind her, so to speak, and then you could mask over top of her, or just do the cheating thing that I do, which is I'll just cut her arm off, her shoulder off, duplicate, drop on top, and then just get an eraser and remove the edges around her skin. And people are probably asking me, why do I do this rather than masking? It's just easier, and that way I can actually see where her arms are, if that makes sense. With masking, you're removing it, not adding it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just prefer doing it this way, to be fair. But you can I just made her arm a bit too small, but you get the gist of my idea. You can do something like that, and then put the name once again anywhere around here. I would probably go something like that, maybe, or even over here. It doesn't really matter where you put it, to be fair. Even if you don't want the name included, you don't have to, you can just have your name. But that's how I would do it. So that's single ones. If you're doing double ones, it gets a little bit trickier because you need to find the fonts. I'm just trying to think of one that I can use. Do I have any pictures for? No, not really. Okay, so with two words or three words, for example, my LI on Desi, and also V from Creativian, who's my co-owner, he has a three-word name, which is Bury the light. So if you're doing a 3-word one, you can just do like the first two. And I would say something simple like maybe Babass would work. You don't have to be massive with it, depending on the name of your thingy, I guess. I mean, I'm doing this on Desi's picture, so it doesn't really matter. I would probably make that maybe about 140, maybe a bit smaller, but you could put it like there, and then you could put light underneath, and you could change that font, maybe something like that, if it was like more of a feminine one. And then I could put like in this situation you can use what do you want to call it, silkscreen, because obviously it's a single one, and then I could just copy all of them, put them into a group, do my effects if I wanted to do any effects. That doesn't look right. Like so, and then I could make it like do it differently or something like that, and that's how I would do like a 3-way one. If you don't want the word light to be blended in, take it out of the thingy and do it like that, if that makes sense. So don't put it in the group, because the group will like do all the effects for all of it and make it one, whereas if you keep it out or separate, you don't obviously do it that way. But hopefully that makes sense. You can see what I mean. There's 2 different variations you could do that. And then obviously if you wanted to do another sort, you could, there's so many fonts out here that you can use, which is helpful. I never know how to pronounce this one. Comet, I presume it's called, is a really good one for using as a base coat, or a base coat, a base font, whether you do it in uppercase or lowercase. So if you're going to do it uppercase, you could make it, depending on where you're going to place it, of course. I mean, you could use it all in the same font. It's completely up to you how you want to do it. I don't know why I've done it that way again for. I have a habit of doing that. But again, they don't have to be the same kind of colours. You can obviously change it. So if you wanted that one to be white, like that, you could. Or if you want to make it a slightly bit smaller, you could. Or you could even change it completely and do a whole different font. It's completely your actual discretion. So you could have it like that instead. So I hope that makes sense. There are so many different variations you can do. Exclusion, obviously you've got overlay. To be fair, that one probably looks pretty cool on there. Yeah, I'd go with something like that, so it looks a bit, I don't know, something like that. But you've got obviously all these options here. You've got loads of different layer styles as well. Inner shadow is a good one. Outer glow is a good one. Inner glow is a good one. Drop shadow is also one of my favourites, and outer glow. But play around with them. Emboss is also a good one. I do like emboss. Sometimes I don't use texture or anything like that. I just use emboss. And stroke is also a good one, especially if you're doing like lighter colours, and you can also do difference that way, so you can like make it, I don't know, a lot cooler. Trying to think of my words, but I hope that makes sense. And play around with fonts. There's so many fonts you can get now, so just keep playing around with it. I would also try and make them 2 different sizes, especially if they're more than 2 words or more than 1 word. So if you've got a 2-word name or something like that, or more than that, depending on how many you have in your name, I would always try and make like the first 2 fonts different than the last font, or depending on what the font says, there's variations of options. And yeah, just play around with it and see how you go. I'll show you some examples that I've done with Desi, so you can see like what sort of style I usually do. Trying to find my font, my ones now. because some of these aren't mine. They're made for me. So these are obviously single word ones. So yeah, it's just like one big word with a little text underneath. Again, that's what I said, like behind her with their name. This is actually one of my template ones, I believe, that I did make. So if you have got that, obviously feel free to use it. I don't like the fact that people are using them for custom work, but if you're doing it for free work, then it's up to you. I've got no control over it anymore, so that's why I don't do it. Me getting salty. But yeah, that's like one style you can do. This is another one which is actually 3 different fonts. So that's the Zik Nom Kill, whatever you want to call it, that I destroy. And then obviously Arial in another font. That's just one font. I haven't put a name on that one. Again, with that one, it's the same. This one I've just done some simple. That's actually, I believe, Harlow from Sub-Zero. That's her font style templates. Again, that's 3 different fonts. That one is, I think it's VEBK's Black Kittens template from her DeviantArt. Again, that is Harlow's from Sub-Zero. And again, we got any other ones? These ones as well that I've done. Just to show you, so behind the head, I do prefer like behind the head or behind them. There's 2 variations of this edit because I didn't know which one I wanted, because I like both. So there's 2 options there. Behind the head again, another one behind the head. That one's just a simple one. Behind the body, but yeah, generally that is like the type that I use. So yeah, just play around with it and go from there. I don't think I can show you unless I show you Francine's edits that I've done. Hers, because she's 2 words, I usually either keep them as one font or I split them. So obviously you've got this one which is a straight font, and then again the same font but I've just separated into 2 layers, and the same on that one is the same font but 2 separate layers, and then obviously a 3rd font. But yeah, play around with it, see how you get on. If you've got any questions, then obviously do let me know. But something like this is quite straightforward. Just play around with the styles, don't make them too complicated, and just go with something simple. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.